ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host, AirsoftAL, and welcome to the last review for this year of 2021, which of course is going over an automatic. Now, I've made it clear in the past that I am a very big fan of certain American companies. Colt, Ruger, Winchester, Mossberg, even good old-fashioned, just good old-fashioned American companies. Even Browning is one of my favorite companies as well because, for obvious reasons. But this one we're talking about is an American company that has kind of been a up and down recently. I don't know why. But this one in the airsoft market, it's kind of a weird one because it's got its ups and downs, and a lot of people kind of have a love-hate relationship with the brand. I personally like it because it's got some good guns. I've actually owned some older variations of this company's rifles and even some pistols. My family have owned their revolvers from back in the day, like the 40s all the way up to the 50s. I've even shot their Model 29 a couple of times when my dad owned one. And that was a fun pistol, it really was, even though for my young self it was kind of a wrist breaker because young, didn't really build up a lot of muscles around my wrist and 44 mag. But if you can't read the title, and I'm dancing on the subject, I'm talking about, of course, Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson is one of those companies that actually is a kind of a good brand, and one of its brands, or one of its series of guns that's still going on today, is M&P. Now, M&P stands for Military and Police, and actually got its start in the 1930s, all the way up to the 1940s, and then kind of just dropped off the earth there for a while, from my understanding. Until in 05. 05, it made an introduction again with its new handguns, which I guess you could say was a competing Glock, but I don't think so. I think this was, in my opinion, this was M&P, this was Smith & Wesson kind of trying to get its M&P brand back on the market. And they've got some really good AR-15s from what I've actually shot. I've shot an M&P AR-15 and it's actually pretty good. I've shot an M&P handgun. They're pretty good. And for the price tag of about $400, all the way up to $600, depending on if you go to pawn shops, mind you, because I've found some M&P pistols at pawn shops from 9mm all the way up to the .22 caliber variants for about $300 to $400, or even less, depending on if it's in good condition or not. But today's model we're talking about is, of course, the tried and true supposed flagship of the M&P series, and one that was using a caliber that was apparently very popular with the FBI before they changed back to the other caliber, the M&P 40. Now, the M&P 40 here is a non-blowback CO2 stick mag using little pistol. It has the standard non-blowback safety here, and yeah, that's about it. Which, there is a joke with the Smith & Wesson brand when it's a 40 cal. And I think I'm going to let Zach Hazard from Mike Burnfire take over for this one.
To call it 40 short and weak or 10mm short.
How do you really feel about that caliber?
I don't like 40 Smith & Wesson. It's completely pointless. I didn't like 40 Smith & Wesson even when it was popular. I thought it was dumb.
But you always like to hate on popular things. That's nothing new.
40 Smith & Wesson was originally designed because in the 1980s, the FBI wanted to move away from 9mm. The FBI at the time was using 9mm handguns, but they were just using full metal jacket rounds. Only special units were allowed to use hollow point bullets.
Okay.
So the FBI wanted a round with more, quote, stopping power, which is not a real thing. The FBI wanted a round with more kinetic energy behind it. So gun manufacturers came up with the 10mm cartridge, and they sold it to the FBI. The FBI got a bunch of different 1911 styled handguns in 10mm, and then shortly after adopting it went, this has too much recoil, we don't want it anymore. So Smith & Wesson made 40 Smith & Wesson. It's a 10mm bullet with less powder behind it.
Okay, so it's a weaker 10mm.
That's why I refer to it as 40 short and weak, as opposed to 10mm, which is just a frickin' screamer of a cartridge.
But why did they have to call it 40 Smith & Wesson?
Because Smith & Wesson designed it. And Smith & Wesson, we ain't using no millimeters on our guns. We use caliber like real Americans.
We like to put our name in the name of our bullet caliber because we're a bunch of assholes. No one else did that, but we're doing it.
Because the FBI had adopted the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge, a bunch of police departments started adopting the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge because We want the same caliber that the FBI is using, because look how cool the FBI is. And at the time, a lot of police departments were still carrying like 38 special revolvers. So at the time, 40 Smith & Wesson was not a bad option, because what 40 Smith & Wesson got you was more kinetic energy than 9mm, not as much as 45 ACP, but you get more capacity than 45 ACP. So 40 Smith & Wesson was this nice little happy medium right in between 9mm, which gave you a lot of capacity, but not a lot of stopping power, and 45, which gave you a lot of stopping power, but not a lot of capacity.
Okay.
So 40 Smith & Wesson sat right in the middle there.
I'm juggling a lot of information here.
That ended up becoming a problem because it turned out that 40 Smith & Wesson, it didn't offer that much more of a benefit to 9mm. They found in recent ballistics tests that 40 Smith & Wesson has roughly the same kinetic energy behind it as 9mm. Maybe a little bit more, but not much.
Where are we going with this information? What's the overall point you're trying to make here?
Man, I don't know. I lost the forest for the trees there.
Yeah, even though 40 cal is or 40 Smith & Wesson or short and weak is still technically, you know, the same ballistic profile as a 9mm, the handguns they're chambered in are actually kind of interesting in terms of design, in terms of the layout, and this right here, it's actually really nice. I do love the design of it. I do love the way it's shaped. It's a very comfortable handgun. It really is. And of course, the fact that it has trademarks here like M&P 40, Smith & Wesson, Springfield, Missouri or Montana, Missouri I think, USA, and of course the Smith & Wesson logo right there. Now I would have liked if it was white right here like in some of the other non-blowbacks from the early days, but that's from the early days. The early days when they used full-size non-blowback style magazines that would drop out of this. But they went with a more traditional and actually a better design with the stick mag. Now, yes, this does have a little bit of issues with the stick mag basically going up in there, but I haven't had any trouble with it actually loading the stick mag in there. And while, yes, there are some gripes I do have with it, like with the grip area here, which you can probably see a little bit of it right there, gripping it a little bit. Just listen. You can hear the plastic actually contorting a bit. And the grip itself, I'm not exactly happy with because it's a little flimsy at best. And that's kind of sad for a almost $50 non-blowback. I say almost $50, but the price tag does actually shoot up a bit, especially, yeah. I haven't looked at the current price tag of it, but it's definitely up there. It's up there, but the CO2 does go in here, and closing it up, it doesn't have that issue with a lot of other non-blowbacks where if you close up the handguard area, it automatically wants to flip up or go elsewhere, go cattywampus, as my best thing. The handgun itself actually does replicate the real steel pretty good. It is a polymer lower frame with a metal, or at least or a type of metallic upper, a metal slide barrel, what have you. Now, another thing is the safety itself, while yes, actually very clicky, very nice, very responsive, you can literally, if you're good, you can't do like most of the other ones in the same price tag and just pull down. No, you actually got to push in and then go forward, which it does actually make it hard. The trigger pull on it is not that bad. It's really not. I mean, it's stiff. It is stiff, but not as bad stiff. Now, the big appeal for it has to be the mag release here. The mag releases protrude enough to where if you are, let's say, you know, 1, 2, 3, you're out, you can keep your finger on the trigger here and basically bring your middle finger up, drop the mag, put a new one in, reacquire, and then 1, 2, 3. The design of the mag release is perfect in the way of the sense of, you know, you don't have to get your finger off the trigger in case, you know, there's still some players over here that are, you know, they're there, but you don't want to get your finger off the trigger and you want to keep your gun concentrated here. Then you can basically do that, load, and then keep going. Now, unlike other non-blowbacks where even though the safety is on and you actuate the trigger, the barrel will still, the action will still load in BBs. Not the case here. It does completely disconnect the trigger from the mechanism that does actually load in the BBs, and you know, you don't get jams then. Now, fair warning, I did get this from a flea market, from Jack's Dollar Deals booth over at the Tupelo Flea Market, which they have now been relocated to Building 1, if you want to go check them out. Now, aside from that, I didn't get a box with this. There are boxes that this does come in. I wish I got the box, but this did come with a magazine list, and I am happy for that. Now, aside from that little bits of stuff, I'm a little bit scared because, again, you know how flea market guns are, so there may be some obstructions in the barrels themselves. I don't exactly know. I'm going to take some precaution in that with the shooting test that we'll be going and conducting now after these messages from our friends over at the Video Game Corner.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Looking for that perfect game for your gaming console? Video Game Corner is the largest independently owned video gaming store in North Mississippi, located at 1519 Highway 72 in Corinth. We are an authorized limited-run retail store and have a massive collection of retro games and game systems, and also plush toys and collectibles. We also pay top dollar for your used video games. Check them out Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit Video Game Corner in Corinth.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Alright, so we have the M&P 40 here, and I'm not gonna lie, that little bit right there, I do like the design of the grip itself, sliding back and all that. You know, the standard stuff, but at the same time, kind of a little wary of me accidentally breaking it off. So, yeah, there's that. But either way, though, let's go ahead and get the CO2 in here. And, yeah, that is one of the things I'm a little wary about because I am having a hell of a time. There we go. There's a tiny, tiny leak I'm hearing. I say tiny because it just stopped. So I'm going to go ahead, get our Evike .2 BBs, load up in here. There we go. Again, I still am a little wary on that, much like with the BR-45. I don't know why they didn't just expand that magwell a bit, but probably a little cutting here will help, maybe. Cutting away at the plastic, but let's go ahead and get the safety off here, get the chronograph turned on, and see with the first spout of CO2 what we're getting at FPS-wise. So, first spout of CO2. Huh. Okay, so there was a lot of BBs shoved in there. Not joking on that. There were a lot of BBs shoved in there. I should have checked this before anything. Either way, let's go ahead and try that again. 795. That can't be right. There we go. 330. 328. 325. 325. And that is it. It's empty. Okay. So, I'm not joking when I say that these little babies right here, these little .12s, were all jammed up in here. But, like I said before, I got this at a flea market. So, when you buy airsoft guns at flea markets, and people will actually load BBs in the magazines and they'll just shove it in there. Yeah, but, so make sure you clear the barrel before you do this. I did not do that, so next gun I review from the flea market, I'm clearing a barrel. But, either way though. So, the FPS we're getting at is a CQB 330 FPS. However, the CO2 is going down, so I might have to check seals on that. But, the cool part about this is that this fits into a particular kit that I actually do have. So let's say you don't want to run this as a pistol, but you don't know what carbine kit there is for it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Umarex has the answer for you. If you remember me reviewing this a long time ago, this is the Umarex Tac TAC kit that is made for not only, of course, the Combat Enforcer, but also their version of a Glock and the H&K. It's also made for the M&P40. So literally, you just stick it up in there. If I can get it lined up as such. There we go. Put that there. Close this. Ah, son of a bitch. Get this redone, readjusted. Close this up. God damn it. I'm gonna get it, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. God damn it. There it goes. Now it's in there. And voila! You have yourself a M&P 40 pistol caliber carbine kit. And yes, this does work with the blowback versions of them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the magazine fully loaded up. Let's go ahead and get a run cam on this and get this set up for some long distance shooting, shall we? Now that we're out here, of course, we have the Tac kit, which I do have the run cam on. And I'm not gonna lie, having it like this, be it with the Enforcer, the HK, or even the M&P40 or their version of a Glock, which whenever we do review a Glock, I will probably see if I can fit in this with its other configuration. But the thing is that this does give you a much more comfortable and much more stable shooting platform for if you want to run a pistol caliber carbine for the Smith & Wesson M&P40. So let's go ahead, get it loaded up with some Evike .2 BBs. There we go. Again, I'm still not happy with that. Even though it is a little bit big, still not happy with that. But, you know, to each their own. Get the run cam going. And let's see if we can hit the broad side of a barn. It hit the ladder. The ladder. Let's see if we can't hit the barn. Yeah, but I gotta angle it a bit, so let's see the straight flat shooting distance we're getting with this. We're getting beyond the barn right to the tree line, so let's just try and shoot another flat shot. That one went way up, so yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's going directly to the tree line. So, in a sense, we're getting about roughly 100 plus feet out of it. Now, I want to see just straight out to that tree how far she's going. So we're going to use that tree out there as a reference, which you can see in the run cam footage here. You're getting about 100 plus foot at least with this right here, and I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty impressive for a non-blowback like this. Now, in all honesty, this little pistol right here does impress me a lot. Not only the fact that it will fit in your pistol caliber carbine kit right here, or the Umarex Tac kit, but it's just that you can use it like this. That's what actually impresses me, is that you can use it like this. And yeah, let's go ahead and get back inside and I'll give my final thoughts on this pistol and its final rating. In terms of whether or not this is a good gun, personally, I say this is actually a fantastic little sidearm for a non-blowback. Yes, the price tag may be a little bit iffy for you guys, but in terms of just the overall appeal for this, and that you can actually have a carbine kit, which is less than $40 itself, and you can use it with this, and it's a blowback variant. In my opinion, I think that's actually a really good steal. That's actually really good for what you want it to be, and the fact that this is non-blowback. And the carbine kit itself has a thread on there for a suppressor, which I have to do a little research on it and see what kind of suppressor it can go on. That can go on, and see what if I can find it. Of course, unless that runs off of like the Mac 11, Mac 10 suppressor. But again, you know, you guys will probably let me know in the comment section on that. But for the price tag it's at, for the range we're actually getting, for a lot of the good stuff it actually is doing in terms of a handgun, which I might run this a lot actually, because the fact that I can put this in a carbine kit, I can actually use this as a primary, which is very good for me because, again, that's also good for you guys who want to run pistol carbine kits, but still have the ability to have this come out. Or if you have, say, a ton of stick mags for non-blowbacks, then you can have this in a carbine kit, and you can basically, you know, have another one on the side here that actually uses a stick mag. So, say, like you have the Umarex Combat Enforcer or any other types of stick mag fed non-blowbacks, you have that. And again, the fact of better stabilization, better use of that, of just the trigger pull itself, there's a lot to this pistol that is really good. Its comfort, its price tag, its performance, it is good as a handgun and as a pistol carbine kit for CQB play. For longer distances, I don't think that's going to work out very well unless you actually get into the guts of this thing and you start doing some finagling with it. But even then, it's still a good little handgun. And for the price tag, for everything in between, I give this no more, no less than a 9 out of 10. A must-own. For anyone who loves Smith & Wesson, for anyone who likes this sort of thing, totally for you. But the big thing that's a big disappointment for me has to be this. I mean, you have this. The other disappointment is the grip area, the fact that I'm able to flex that. That's actually not really good. So if you're a 3D printer, I'd recommend you 3D print a new cover for the CO2 area, because that will do a lot better for you in the end. The other issue I have with it has to be the screw itself, because I don't know, I just don't like that. I think it's easy for it to come off. I think it's easy for it to break. It's just one of my little nitpicks at that point in time. But the big one has to be the trigger pull on it. There are other non-blowbacks that have better trigger pulls, and that is very disappointing for me, because again, the trigger pull on this is not bad, but if you're constantly pulling the trigger, it's definitely going, your trigger finger is going to get tired, and you're going to want to go to your middle finger to do like a speed softer, paintballer, you know, things like that, where you're literally doing that essentially. So yeah, the Picatinny rail I have no issue with, of course. Just the overall performance, the profile, everything about this is really good, and I do love it. And yeah, you can get this at Jack's Dollar Deals, and you can get it at their booth at the Tupelo Flea Market if you guys are interested. And yeah, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL, and let's hope the review for 2022, or at least the first review of 2022, isn't as bad as I hope. Either way, though, as always, I've been AirsoftAL, and I'll see all you lovely people in the next video. Till next time, later.